Let's move on now to the second main topic today. And the second main topic today comes to us from Shawn Spencer, who writes, a quite simple question, but do you think down the road in phase 4 or 5 that Kevin Feige could direct an MCU movie? And do you think the movie would be good? And do you think that he is a good choice to direct a movie? I mean, he has produced so many movies, so why not direct an MCU movie? I would totally be down if he did. Love the show and keep up the good work. All right, thanks a lot for the question, Shawn. And actually, this is a question about the possibility of a Kevin Feige maybe directing a MCU movie has actually been coming up a little bit lately. It's like, hey man, he's the mastermind behind everything. Why not put him behind the camera and actually let him direct one of these damn things? And Rob, I'll tell you right now, there are two reasons that, number one, could he? Absolutely he could. He's the boss. He can do whatever the hell he wants. If he wants to direct the next 5 Avengers movies, who's going to tell him no? Nobody. Alan Horn's not going to. Alan Horn could because he's his boss, but Alan Horn would go, Kevin, you whatever you want to do, man, because you're the goose that lays the golden egg, my kid. Go for it. No one's going to tell him no. He's going to do it if he wants to do it. Could he? Yeah. Should he? Hell no. Hell no. And Rob, I got 2 reasons why I'm going not just with no, but with a Will Smithian hell no on that. Number one, directing is, I know a lot of people in film fandom, they just think everything's the same. Directing and producing are 2 wildly different things. They are wildly different things. As a guy who has produced and directed, granted very small scale stuff, I can tell you they're 2 completely different jobs. Rob, as a producer and as a director, I know you know that they are 2 radically different jobs.
Completely different.
One is not like the other in any way, shape, or form. And we're seeing X-Men Dark Phoenix right now coming out with a longtime producer and Simon Kinberg jumping behind the camera, and we're not hearing great things, although we haven't seen it yet. So let's withhold judgment on that one. So number one, just because he's the mastermind behind all the things does not necessarily mean his talents lie in directing. So that's the first thing. The second thing is this. I don't know if people understand how much directing a feature film takes over the totality of your life for 1.5, 2, sometimes 3 years. All you can think about, concentrate on, focus on, work on, eat, sleep, dream is that movie and that project. It takes up everything you're doing. Sometimes for a year, sometimes for 2 years, sometimes for 3 years. Kevin Feige is the man behind the MCU. He is overseeing and has his hands on 3, maybe 4, coming up sometime soon, movies a year. I remember I had a chance, there was a couple of years ago, Rob, where I got to do it was one of the most fun things I've ever done in my career. I got to be the moderator for the Avengers Age of Ultron press conference with all the cast and Joss Whedon and Kevin Feige at the Disney lot. It was one of the most fun things I've ever done. But before we start, I got to hang out with Kevin a little bit, and he had just run in the door sweating. I'm like, hey man, how's your day going? And he's just like, it was like 9 o'clock in the morning. He goes, I've already had 3 meetings. I've got basically a new race car as a golf cart because my driver, Rick, is like, as soon as I'm done this, I got to run, get back on that cart. I got to go do an Ant-Man visual check. Then I got to go over here, do this other movie thing. Then I've got a conference call with our crew that's on set in Atlanta right now, working on the other movie and blah, blah, blah. And that's his day. Kevin Feige has no time to put all of that away and say, hey guys, you can't reach me for another 2 years because I'm going to direct one of the films. That's why he gets directors on board so that they can do that, fulfill his vision. He gives them the guidelines that he wants. Then they're the ones who know how to execute it. So could he do it? If he wanted to, he's the man, he can. But producing and directing are 2 totally different things, and the MCU needs him in his throne. He needs to be in the throne room. He needs to be coordinating the whole MCU, and directing a film just takes up too much of his time. Anyway, Rob, you've had far more experience both producing and directing than I have. Like, how do you see this whole thing? Could Kevin Feige direct one, and do you think it'd be a good idea for him to do it?
First of all, you did a great job explaining the job of a working producer like Kevin Feige. I mean, I think you're absolutely right. Look, if you're Kevin Feige, do you want to spend 2 years directing one movie, or do you want to produce all of the MCU.
6 movies over 2 years.
You know, and I think there are people, and I mean, we sort of have this idea that directors are these mythical creatures that come down from Mount Olympus. They're gods, that the skies part, and then they get to direct films. But being a working producer, like a Kevin Feige, is just as, in his case, a lot more demanding, because he is shepherding a vision of all of these movies, not just one. And that's an amazing job, too. What he's done is he's literally done something unprecedented in Hollywood history. There's never been anyone like Kevin Feige doing what he's done. And I think Kevin Feige really likes being Kevin Feige. And sure, he might want to direct, but he's smart enough to know he's a really smart producer. He's not like Lloyd Levin on Hellboy saying, you know what? You got to change that tree over there. Kevin Feige hires people because he knows he hires the people that he trusts and believes in, and unleashes them, and they work synergistically with him to create the wider MCU. And I think that's like the greatest job in the world. I mean, if I could have that job for the rest of my life, I'd be totally satisfied. And look at his track record. I mean, remember that old term that Charlie Sheen used to use, winning?
Yep, winning.
I think no one ever defined that term more than Kevin Feige has. And what a life, and what an accomplishment that he's done. You know, you get to direct how many movies in your life? Stanley Kubrick directed, 7 feature films or something? Hitchcock did 53, but Kevin Feige has now made 22 movies before the 13 he made before the MCU.
Yeah, that's just the MCU.
And 22 movies that have made collectively now an average of $1 billion. No one's ever done that. How amazing. What a great thing. I don't think he's ever going to direct.
No, I agree with you. I don't think he should. I think he's doing something great. He's onto a good thing. Just let him keep doing his good thing, and I don't ever think we're going to see him stop. Now, I could see maybe him doing it, because I've said for a little while, Rob, that I think Kevin Feige is running out of things to do at the MCU. He's done it all. He's accomplished it all. I mean, pretty soon he's going to have produced and shepherded the #1 box office film of all time.
There's nowhere to go.
There's nowhere left to go. So I'm thinking in a couple years, he's going to split Disney and take on a new challenge. Maybe he'll take over the DCEU, although Walter Hamada seems to be doing a pretty good job over there. Maybe he'll take over Paramount. Maybe he'll decide, you know what? I do want to try directing. I'm going to step down from my position in Marvel. I'm going to direct a film or two.
Yep.
He's going to have all the money in the world and all the street cred in the world to do it if he wants. But as long as he's in the throne, as long as he's on that throne, I can't see it happening. I just can't see him do it. What do you guys think? Would you want to see Kevin Feige directing the movie, or are you like me and saying, we don't know that he can direct, so why? He's doing a great job as a producer. Or do you think it is the next logical step for Kevin Feige to try? Jump down to the comment section below and let me know your thoughts.